In Chief Architect, there are two ways to build roof planes. Under your Roof Tools parent tool, you have the automatic Build Roof tool. You also have the Roof Plane tool for building each individual roof plane manually. There are several dialogues that affect how the roof planes will build. To start with, we'll go to the automatic Build Roof tool. This dialog does two things. It sets up the defaults for how the roof planes will build, whether you're using the automatic Build Roof tool or you're manually building your roofs. In here you can set up defaults for the pitch of the roof, for the overhangs of the roof, for the height of the roof if you're going to raise or lower off the ceiling height, as well as the bird's mouth cut in the rafters. You also have options here for how the eaves will be cut, square or plumb, for how the ceiling break lines will appear, as well as supplying gutters or edge flashing. Under the Structure panel, you can change the framing defaults for your roof. You can automatically build the roof framing at the same time you build the roof plane. You can also change the defaults for your rafter spacing and your maximum lookout spacing. You can also change the roof layers for the finish and the structure and the ceiling finish. You can also change the framing options for your rafters, your ridge, and your fascias. You can add shaped rafter tails. You can also add special profiles for your ridge caps and your gutters. You can also add moldings such as freeze boards and shadow boards. You can change how the arrow looks on your roof pitch label. You can also change your materials for your roof's fascia, the skylights, the soffits, as well as the gutter molding and the ridge cap molding. Under Roof Styles, you can select any one of these to direct you to the instructions of how to create certain roof styles. The other thing that the Build Roof dialog does is build the roof when you click on Build Roof Planes. If you click on Auto Rebuild Roofs, Chief will regenerate the roof every time you make a change in your plan. If we don't select the Build Roof Planes tool and simply make a change, for instance to the pitch, and click OK, it won't build the roof planes, but it has changed the defaults for how the roof planes will build. Another dialog that will affect how your roof planes build is each individual room's specification dialog. If we double-click here in the living room, under the Structure panel, you'll see here that we have the ceiling heights, the absolute ceiling height of 109 1/8 inches, which on the first floor is the same as the rough ceiling height E. The ceiling height will determine the baseline height of the roof, or the elevation that the roof plane will build. The baseline of a roof plane is located by default at the outside edge of the main layer of the wall, right at the top of the ceiling height, or the top of the wall. In this dialog, you also determine whether or not you'll build the roof plane over this individual room. For instance, I'll cancel out of here, and we'll open up the deck room type, and go to the Structure panel. Here, the roof over this room is unchecked. When I automatically build the roof tool will ignore this room and not build the roof over it. In any individual room, under that Structure panel, you can uncheck the box for ceiling over this room. With ceiling over this room unchecked, you'll remove the flat ceiling structure over the top of this room. The ceiling finish will then follow the underside of the roof framing. Also under Ceiling, you can determine the ceiling finish. The ceiling finish will be used in the Build Roof dialog. I'll click OK here, and we'll go back to the automatic Build Roof tool. Under the Structure tab, here under Ceiling, you can see that the box is checked to use the room ceiling finish. You can change this and override that room ceiling finish with a different finish if you like in the Build Roof tool. Another dialog that determines how your roof planes will build is each individual exterior wall that the roof planes bear on. If I double-click on this end wall and go to the Roof panel here on the left, you'll see here that I have roof directives for how the roof plane will bear on this wall. For instance, on this individual wall, I can determine that this one will be a full gable wall or a high shed gable wall. You can also override the default pitch indicated by the D in parentheses. The default pitch is set up in the Build Roof tool. You can also override the default overhang. You also have an option here to add an upper and lower pitch to build, for instance, a gambrel roof. You also have options for auto roof returns and lower wall types if splitting by a butting roof. Again, the roof directives in the wall specification dialog override the defaults that are set up in the Build Roof tool. Some of these settings will affect how the roof will build on this wall if you automatically build the roof planes, for instance the pitch and the overhang. However, some of them will affect how the roof plane will build, whether you automatically build the roof or manually build the roof planes, like the auto roof return. In addition to being able to set up the roof structure under the Build Roof tool in the Structure panel, you also have the ability to make all of these changes in your defaults. If we go to Default Settings, go to Framing Defaults, and to the Roof panel, you have all of the exact same options to change the framing here. So let's go ahead and build the roof on this structure. We'll go to the Build Roof tool, click on Build Roof, accept all of the defaults as we have them set here, and click OK. Once the roof planes are built, you can select and edit each roof plane. To select a roof plane, you'll have to click right on the green dotted line that forms the perimeter of that roof plane. You can double-click on that line or use your Open Object tool to open up the roof plane specification. In here you can edit this individual roof plane. You can change the height, the pitch, as well as all of the options that you set up when you build the roof plane in the first place. You can also determine how your roof planes appear in the floor plan view by going to your Layer Display options, selecting any layer in the list, typing R on your keyboard. That'll take you right down to the R's in the list of layers. Here you can see that the roof planes are displayed as indicated by the check mark under the DISP or display column. To change how the roof plane lines appear in the floor plan view, here in the layer you can change the color of the lines as well as the line weight or the line style. We also have displayed our roof plane baselines. The roof labels are not displayed. I'll go ahead and put a check mark here in the display column and click OK. Now we have our roof plane labels that show us the pitch of each roof plane. So as we've discussed, there are several dialogues that affect how the roof will build, whether you're building the roof automatically with the Build Roof tool or manually building your roofs. We'll be using these dialogues as we show you how to build different roof styles in additional videos.